If someone you're in relationship with repeatedly intimidates, humiliates, coerces, devalues, threatens, sexually pressures, isolates, or frightens you, pay attention because these are some of the many signs of abuse. And abuse isn't about anger or love, it's about power and control. Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I coach and heal highly sensitive people and empaths. This is the 13th and final piece of my Relationship Dealbreaker series before I move on to other, hopefully more uplifting topics. And this information on abuse matters deeply because victims often get caught up in the abusive cycle without recognizing it because nobody ever taught them what to look for or how abuse functions. One of the most damaging lies about abuse is this: if the victim would just behave better, the abuse would stop. Simply not true, because abuse is never caused by the victim's behavior. Let me say that again: never caused by the victim's behavior. It's caused by the internal emotional state, attitudes, beliefs, and entitlement of the abuser. People are never responsible for the feelings or attitudes of others. However, abusers often believe that their partners are responsible for managing their emotional state. So, whenever they feel anger, stress, shame, frustration, disappointment, or loss of control, they turn those emotions onto their partner through aggression, intimidation, punishment, humiliation, coercion, fear, or control. And hear me clearly: anger itself does not cause abuse. They're not the same thing. Anger is a normal human emotion that can provide important information about boundary crossings, emotional needs, or pain. But aggression is different. It causes harm. And abuse involves repeated patterns of aggressive or coercive behavior designed to create fear, compliance, power, and control over another person. Because, and this is important, abuse benefits the abuser. Abuse results in partners walking on eggshells around them, children tiptoeing around the house, victims trying constantly to keep the peace, reduced accountability and increased control for the abuser, and freedom from responsibilities that they don't want to carry. That is why the abuse continues. Not because the abuser cannot control themselves, although that's what they want you to believe, but because the behavior gets them what they want. And this is also why no matter how hard the victim tries to appease the abuser, the abuse is very unlikely to stop. Because abuse is not caused by stress, substances, anger, or relationship conflict alone. Abusers use substances around other people and don't abuse them. They get angry around other people and don't abuse them. The aggression is selective, intentional, and designed to create power over the victim. The definition of abuse is not only physical violence, although that can be a component. It also includes different mixes of sexual coercion or forced emotional degradation, public humiliation, property destruction, threats, financial control, preventing someone from leaving, isolating them from support, or creating fear through intimidation. And abuse follows a specific pattern known as the cycle of abuse. Step 1 is an abusive incident. Step 2 is a calm period called the honeymoon phase, often including apologies, gifts, promises that the abuse will never happen again, affection or remorse. Step 3 is a period of tension building, leading to another abusive incident, and then the cycle repeats over and over. The cycles may vary in length and the type and severity of the abusive incident, but the pattern is always the same. Over time, these cycles often become shorter. And in many abusive relationships, the violence escalates while the honeymoon phase slowly disappears. For highly sensitive people and empaths, abuse can be especially confusing because many of us respond by blaming ourselves, since we already tend to have a sense of being flawed. This leads to trying harder, becoming more accommodating, and overfunctioning to try to keep the peace. But hear me clearly, you cannot stop abuse by becoming smaller and more accommodating. And real love never requires fear to maintain connection. Healthy love is built on mutual respect, emotional safety, autonomy, care, accountability, and human connection. Not intimidation, not domination, not control. If this series has taught you anything, let it be this. Love should feel emotionally safe, and it should add to your life, not take away from it. Comment with the word HEAL, HEAL, if you're learning that emotional fidelity matters too, and I'll send you my free highly sensitive nervous system starter kit, including meditations, grounding tools, nervous system support, and healing resources for HSPs and empaths. Comment with the word CALM to access my healing library, including meditations, grounding tools, nervous system support, and healing resources for highly sensitive people and empaths. Please like, share, follow, and check the link in bio for my healing library and more ways to work with me. Lots of love to you and yours. Take care.